What is going on, guys? And welcome to, as the title says, a rant video. Yes, it is a rant video. Don't normally like doing these, but it has to be said. Now, before we get into this, I just want to say thank you to the people on Twitter that actually suggested this. Initially, I done the same video, but it was offline. It was on my own camera, right? Well, this is on my own camera, but essentially, like, the audio and me myself was way out of sync, and not just the usual one, like, half a second that you get with YouTube, right? This was just mental, and it was like really slow and glitchy. So I thought, should I record some gameplay and put it over and put the original audio on it? And then I thought, no, because you guys would like to see and how passionate I am. So basically, let's get started, right? What this is a rant video, and what it's a rant about is the storyline or the booking of Becky Lynch, Charlotte Flair, and Ronda Rousey. And I know, look, although I don't know if you guys can see, bloody hell, the camera. Although, I'm wearing a Becky Lynch shirt, right? Huge fan, I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to sit there and lie to you guys and say that I've been completely happy with the way everything's gone, because I haven't. But they fucked up 3 women, right? And let me begin. Let me explain why. Let's go back to pre-SummerSlam, right? So Charlotte Flair's just gone out for some surgery, right? Google is your friend if you want to find out what it was. But she went out for some surgery. So they started pushing Becky Lynch, and she was kind of like the main deal, the main thing going on SmackDown, right? So she wins multiple matches, beats basically everyone on the SmackDown women's roster, sometimes twice over, let's face it. And basically then they go on this weird trajectory, like this weird path at SummerSlam. Charlotte Flair comes back and gets added to a triple threat match, which seems to be like a running thing with her, whatever you want to say. So she gets added to that match, right? And she wins at SummerSlam. And, if that's what they wanted to do, that's what they wanted to do. Probably should have given it to Becky there and then. But, okay, fair enough. At the same event, by the way, they had Ronda Rousey completely destroy Alexa Bliss. Now, I'll admit, I'm not as much of a fan as Alexa Bliss, I should say, as I am of the 3 women that I'm talking about in this video. But the fact that you have the Raw Women's Champion, who you've been building your division around for months, get beat and lose her newly won title after like a month, and she cashed in Money in the Bank to do that. But that's a whole nother topic of discussion. So then they proceed in the next couple of weeks to turn Becky Lynch heel. Well, actually, no, she turned heel that night, to be honest. But the reason why I say in the next couple of weeks is because the initial turn was not received in the way that WWE wanted, right? Fans were cheering Becky. That's when all this started. Fans were cheering Becky. They were happy that finally, this seemingly like tamed, yet she called herself straight fire woman, finally she'd had enough. She'd snapped. It was good storytelling in that respect. But then they did something the next week on SmackDown that was absolutely ridiculous. They started portraying Becky Lynch as an out-and-out heel. It's mad, because WWE do only seem to have this one way of of writing heels, of doing heels, like in the sense of, oh, this guy, you people, this town, this is horrible. So basically, yeah, you people don't support me, yada, 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 right, and all this nonsense. And, all this is done. I might include a clip in this if I don't bloody get copyrighted. But all of this is done, right, in a manner that's so condescending. It's like telling the fans that they don't know what they want. So all of this is done whilst the fans are literally chanting Becky, 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 and it's mental. And every time Charlotte Flair comes out, she's getting booed, blah 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 blah. So a couple of weeks go by, right? Excuse me, I got a massive bloody cough coming. I know I have. Another couple of weeks go by. In the end, and this is even from the Wikipedia page on the feud, right? And I know Wikipedia could be edited or whatever, but you know, generally it's where you get a lot of information, right? It was portrayed as, hang on, let me just make sure I'm reading this properly. Both women were portrayed as having valid points in the argument, or something along those lines, right? Both women were portrayed as good guys, but having valid points, right? So they've already like switched back from their initial Becky Lynch heel turn, and I admit what they done two things right that I can, you know, that I can think of in this timeline in my head, right? So Becky Lynch versus Charlotte at Hell in a Cell. They have Becky go over, they have Becky win. She picks up the SmackDown Women's Championship for the second time, and it was really, really good, right? Then they have this great match, Evolution. That was fantastic. Last man standing match. And then I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I'm just going to back up my sources here, right? But I believe they had their next match at Super Showdown, right? And this is where, you know, the cracks first started to show in the WWE booking, right? And the whole booking of it all. They basically had Becky get herself disqualified to retain the championship. That might have actually been before Evolution, if I'm not mistaken. And it was ridiculous, even then, because, you know, you got this champion who's meant to, you know, her whole thing was, I'm finally the champion. I'm right. I'm justified, which is fine. But even that was fine, you know. Then we fast forward to just before Survivor Series, like, you know, 2 weeks before, right? It's announced that Ronda Rousey, the Raw Women's Champion, will face off against the current, at that time, the SmackDown Live Women's Champion, Becky Lynch. Yeah, I almost said Charlotte Flair there. So Becky Lynch, right, is due to face off against Ronda Rousey. She then gets KO'd, face broken by Nia Jax when she is invading Raw, and this turns out to be a legitimate injury, right? After, might I add, after she's tapped Ronda Rousey, well, I say tapped Ronda Rousey, after she broke Ronda Rousey's arm backstage and basically annihilated her in the ring, right? But it turns out that this injury is legit. Becky Lynch will miss Survivor Series. Absolutely heartbreaking. Personally, like the momentum, I thought, oh my God, the momentum has been stalled. But WWE, excuse me, WWE did what they always seem to do, and that is what they want, right? Just in a completely weird way. So they had Charlotte Flair, who was still a babyface at this time, kind of battle out with Ronda Rousey. And in the end, Charlotte Flair, and you may notice this from my Becky Lynch Road to WrestleMania series, Charlotte Flair kind of goes on a mad one at the end and they played it off as like she realized she couldn't beat Ronda Rousey, right? Charlotte Flair then grabs this kendo stick and for some hell of a reason just goes absolutely mental on Ronda Rousey, right? Oh, and before this, I probably should mention that in storyline, it was Becky Lynch that, you know, picked Charlotte. They kind of had a short embrace, like, you know, I'm sorry for everything, you're still my friend. You know, hold on to that. Keep that in the back of your mind for a second. But anyway, back to the Survivor Series and back to Charlotte Flair doing damage to Ronda Rousey. So, you know, eventually the officials stopped Charlotte and she has done absolute damage, man. And Ronda Rousey, she's walking out there. And for real, the fans are booing Ronda and cheering Charlotte. You know, this woman who they were only booing a couple of weeks ago. And Daniel Bryan's right. I'm not going to lie. There's some truth in those fickle promos. A lot of these fans, they are fickle, right? But anyway. So Ronda Rousey gets the hell beaten out of her. She comes out next night on Raw and swears revenge after the crowd have booed her, but, you know, she didn't talk about the crowd booing her. But, yeah, she swears revenge on Charlotte Flair. So Becky Lynch is cleared a few weeks later for TLC, right? In December, I believe. So Charlotte Flair, for some reason, again, don't ask me why, but again, she's in this match, right? She's in this match again. So this is 2 triple threats that Charlotte Flair has gotten into, right? And don't get me wrong, I like Charlotte Flair. I've said it before, right? But Charlotte Flair has got herself into another triple threat. This time with a newly kind of rehabbed and rebuilt Asuka, right? Which is perfectly fine. So for the most part, it looks like, I believe, was it Becky Lynch who was just about to retain her championship? Like, she climbs the ladder. Ronda Rousey comes storming down to the ring, pushes the ladder over. I think both Charlotte Flair and Becky Lynch, like, they roll out the ring like after falling off the ladder, and Asuka wins the title and is your new SmackDown Live Women's Championship. Now, they obviously wanted to get the belt off Becky because they have bigger plans, right? No problem. I just wish they would have, for Asuka's sake more than anyone else, I wish they would have done, you know, I wish they would have done more for her. You know, maybe, I mean, I don't know, maybe fucking Ronda Rousey attacked Becky Lynch, you know, near the barricade or something, and then Charlotte Flair maybe was up on the ladder and Asuka tipped the ladder over herself, knocked Charlotte Flair off, and you know, won the title that way. But anyway, poor Asuka. I should probably change the title of this video to 4 women. 4 women that WWE have fucked up, right? Because poor Asuka, let's just touch on it briefly. Poor Asuka, man. They have done absolutely nothing with her. They have done absolutely nothing with her since fucking she won that belt. And I'm not being funny. We're gonna skip on a little bit as well to the Royal Rumble, right? They announced that Becky and Asuka would be having a match at the Royal Rumble itself. This was like literally a week or so before the actual Rumble. You know, they've already fired Paige. They've already kind of fired Paige as general manager by this point. That's not good. I mean, that's sad, but whatever. We're getting distracted from the point. I'm sorry. There's just loads of things I'm passionate about. So what happens by this time is that at the Royal Rumble, Asuka and Becky Lynch fight in the opener, I believe it was. Asuka retains the Women's Championship in a competitive match after she makes Becky Lynch pass out. That is mistake number 2, in my opinion, or even number 3, right? I'm keeping tabs. So 3 mistakes. Number 1, trying to turn Becky heel in the first place. Number 2, the way Asuka won the belt. And number 3, making Becky Lynch tap out, right? So maybe she should have just passed out in the Asuka lock. And that should have been it, right? That should have been it. That should have been fine and dandy. But she didn't. But all good things would be restored later on in the night. And I have to hand it, this is the second thing that WWE done well. Lana's injured in the Royal Rumble. Becky Lynch comes in and she basically closes off her angle with Nia Jax. She eliminates her. And then Nia Jax goes on and post match, I don't know what you want to say, pre-match assaults Becky Lynch, and that's where the original knee injury come from, right? So let's keep this in mind, you know, a bit down the line, right? So in spite of all that, Becky Lynch goes on to win the Royal Rumble and now has officially booked her ticket, punched her ticket to the main event of WrestleMania. Absolutely outstanding. WWE, it's a simple story to tell. Let's do it, right? No, because a couple of weeks after this, Shane, it's because Shane's recently turned heel, sorry. Stephanie and Triple H come out and they say, look, man, Becky, you're not cleared. You're not medically cleared. To which she says, well, basically at Survivor Series, your guys robbed me of my match at Survivor Series. So, no, I'm not going to get assaulted and everything like that. I'm not going to get medically cleared. So they, as heels at this time, by the way, those two, were basically like, well, we're going to have to suspend you. Or I think that was actually Stephanie McMahon that originally suspended Becky by herself. And to iterate that Stephanie was a heel, I think she actually kicked the knee out from underneath of Becky Lynch. But that was completely forgotten about, I guess. I mean, okay, fair enough. But anyway, so a week or so later, Becky Lynch, she comes back. She says, well, I got checked out by my own doctors. I've been cleared. It's all good for me. I'm completely happy now. You know, I'm the one that's been cleared. My own doctor has cleared me. Out comes Vince McMahon. And this is another fuck up, right? Not the fact that Charlotte's in the match, although, you know, that kind of is a fuck up. They probably should just leave it, the two of them. But I'm not going to be too harsh on Charlotte. I don't want to be. But Vince comes out and introduces her and says, Charlotte Flair is in this match. You know, Charlotte Flair is in this match, and Becky, you're suspended for 60 days. So not only was she injured, she was suspended, then unsuspended, now she's suspended again. Major fuck-ups. I can't remember the dude's name, so I do apologize, but there was a gentleman on Twitter that had this really kind of funny diagram, and it was basically Becky Lynch's road to WrestleMania, and it had what should be a traditional Royal Rumble, Fastlane, or whatever, and then WrestleMania. Simple as, right? But Becky's, I can't illustrate it, but the picture he had was Becky Lynch, right, over there off screen. And her road to WrestleMania, instead of being a straight line like that, was like basically all bloody messed up. That part of the video is going to get edited out to become like a GIF or something if I ever get famous in it. But no, so that just goes to show what the fans are thinking of this already. And this is before all of the stuff in the last couple of weeks, by the way. So at this point, Becky Lynch is suspended. Charlotte Flair is in the match. Okay, cool. So Becky's gonna have to overcome the odds and do something to get unsuspended. You know, that's fine. All right. Couple of weeks later, after Becky Lynch is seemingly violating this suspension, like every single week she's violating the suspension. Cool, I get that you want to keep her on TV, that's fine. But she's violating it, she's coming, she's doing her thing, right? She's attacking Charlotte Flair, she's attacking Ronda Rousey. I think they had like a contract signing or something at Fastlane, or was it, Elimination Chamber, and Becky Lynch basically lays waste to them both. All right, fine. So, next week after that, Ronda Rousey comes out and says, damn it, I'm at my limit. I'm done. Just reinstate Becky Lynch, do the match, or basically, yeah, essentially she lays the title down in the ring, and for what any other human in the world would think, she basically forfeits the title. In fact, Stephanie McMahon actually at some point during that episode of Raw said the title was vacant. She said there'll be something. I think she said it'll be Charlotte Flair versus Becky Lynch at WrestleMania, right? But rewind, you're probably thinking, how the hell does that happen? Well, at some point I think it was either the next episode, and I'll be honest with you, I've watched every episode of Raw leading up to this, but I can't figure out the place. So at some point, Ronda Rousey vacates the belt essentially, and then at the start of the next episode, fucking Stephanie McMahon says, oh, by the way, even though I attacked Becky Lynch like 2 weeks ago, me and my husband are now the baby faces, and you know, Ronda's kind of messing up our plans. So Becky's unsuspended. The criminal charges because of her breaking her suspension have been dropped. And oh, by the way, it'll be Charlotte Flair versus Becky Lynch at WrestleMania for the title. Okay, so now let's count Becky's journey. She was injured, suspended, medically cleared. Injured. I don't even fucking know. Injured, medically cleared, suspended, unsuspended, re-injured again, I can't even work it out. See, this is exactly the fucking problem. Suspended, injured. Suspended, injured. Becky Lynch even fucking cut a promo last week, I believe, on SmackDown, making fun of the deal. So anyway, Charlotte Flair is just moving around like a spare part in all of this. Like, nobody fucking really wants her in a match. There might be a few people like that want her in a match, but for the most part, they want a one-on-one. Even WWE did a poll and they fucking said one-on-one. But anyway, and you can tell I'm getting fucking annoyed because I'm getting flustered, right? But, and this is the thing that drives my fucking nuts, that fucking makes me nuts, right? In spite of all that, and don't get me wrong, the heel turn isn't the problem. So please, in the comment section below on Twitter, yeah, be kind, because it's not the heel turn I've got a problem with, right? Ronda Rousey then essentially comes out and is like, yo, by the way, I didn't forfeit the title. I was just giving you some time to think about things. Can I have my title back, please? Stephanie's like, sure thing, Ronda. There's your title, man. So Ronda Rousey cuts this, I have to say, good promo, quite a fucking good promo on the crowd, right? And she's going like, oh, you guys are shit. I'm not here to entertain you. I'm not your monkey or whatever. I don't know. Typical bloody Ronda Rousey promo, really. But this one actually came off as really good, right? And it's just like, what is going on? What is happening here? And in all this, then, the next week, we have, it's announced, or this, at the same time, it's announced, wait, Ronda Rousey's back, so Stephanie McMahon's backstage, and she's like, oh, this is to close out Raw, by the way. She's like, oh, okay, so now that Ronda's back and Ronda's the champion, it's no longer going to be Charlotte Flair versus Becky Lynch at WrestleMania. In fact, that match is going to happen at Fastlane, and if Becky Lynch wins, she's back in the match. Excuse me? She is the fucking Royal Rumble winner, suspended or not. She's still the fucking Royal Rumble winner. Why does she all of a sudden have to earn her fucking match back? And what makes it worse is we fast forward to that match and fucking, oh my giddy aunt, what the fuck is going on? But fucking Ronda Rousey, she gets in this fucking ring and she fucking whacks Becky Lynch, causing the DQ. Now she has to, do you not know that before you had a 50% chance, and I'm beginning to sound like bloody Scott Steiner here, but you had a 50% chance of winning your damn title, of retaining your damn title. But now you only have a 33% chance. You've literally just took 17% away from your own odds of winning the belt. And by the way, at some point during all this, Ronda Rousey essentially said on fucking Twitter, oh yeah, wrestling's fake. You fool. And I probably won't call her a fool to her bloody face, so she'll snap my arm off. But like, you fool. Like, Jesus. You'll get, at some point, she's going to, oh, I'll probably look like a fool myself right now, but at some point, she's going to have to tap to that armbar, or she's going to have to sell to that armbar, or sell to a figure eight, or something like that. And you've just called the whole business fake. You could have said, yeah, I don't know, man. She could have said, like, oh, it's not as legitimate as UFC. It's not as hard as UFC. I'm a level above. Like, you could have said anything, but I'm not like bare passionate about the fucking whole real and fake thing. We all know what it is. Like, we enjoy it, but you're gonna have to sell moves, and then you turned up at Fastlane a couple of days later. What is going on? What is going on? I don't understand. What is happening? Oh, I don't get this. Right? They've essentially killed the hype to what should be the first women's WrestleMania main event, right? 3 weeks ago, even 4 weeks ago, this fucking match was probably 90% to even 80, anywhere from probably 90 to 99% certain that this match was going to be the main event of WrestleMania, barring a bad steak. But now with Kofi Kingston, and you know, good luck to him. Like, you know, he's grabbed his opportunity over on SmackDown. But now that he's got this Kofi Mania movement, we might not have the women's main event at WrestleMania anymore. Personally, I think that's where it bloody should be, because, you know, Ronda Rousey's in there. And the worst thing is, Ronda Rousey's bloody hopping off after this as well. And they just love to get things complicated. Like, I'm gonna end off the video in like the next minute or so, but even on Raw this week, man, and don't get me wrong, it was good to an extent, but they had Ronda Rousey hit the fucking, I don't know, hit the ref or hit some security or whatever again, and then her bloody husband, Travis Brown or whatever his name is, just decks one of them. Stop making it complicated. I've even seen people on Twitter suggest fucking Conor McGregor in Becky's corner, fucking Ric Flair and Charlotte Flair's corner, fucking Travis Brown and Ronda Rousey's corner. Do you guys not remember the clusterfuck that WrestleMania 2000? A McMahon in every corner. Do you not remember the clusterfuck that is? They have single-handedly taken a match that should have been one of the biggest in history. Ronda Rousey is the real deal Titus O'Neil. She is legitimate, man. Charlotte Flair, one of the best women's wrestlers I've ever seen. And Becky Lynch is just, she's got this fucking kind of Super Saiyan aura or something about her. So fair play to her, right? Fair fucking play. Look, I don't buy a load of WWE merch. I wasn't giving them my money to an extent, but I bought like 3 fucking Becky Lynch shirts and one of them nice fucking plaque things they fucking give you to commemorate her fucking Royal Rumble victory. So, you know, I should say, I don't not buy wrestling merch, but I get it when it's normally on sale. But I pay full price for my Becky Lynch shit. That just tells you, you know, how much momentum is behind her if you can get a frugal bastard like me to spend money on merch. But look, the point I'm making is, dudes, this fucking match, the build should have been clear. All they've done is just damage fucking all 3 women. The fans have called off somewhat on Becky Lynch. Charlotte Flair was actually getting genuine babyface reactions when she was SmackDown Live Women's Champion in the earlier part of 2018, before she went away for her surgery. You know, Becky, fucking poor Ronda Rousey, she initially she wanted a multi-year deal and was so happy to be here. You can't blame the poor woman. She gets put on the microphone every fucking week when I think she has some kind of like speech problem that she had since she was a kid. She gets fucking booed by people that don't know what the fuck they're doing, when she was a face, by the way. I don't know. Anyway, guys, this video is coming up to half an hour. That's actually longer than my initial video on this topic. So again, thank you to the people that suggested doing it on YouTube, even though the camera quality is a little bit worse. It's what my crappy PC can handle. Well, it's not crappy, but yeah. And by the way, before I go, you know, I want to thank you all for watching and whatnot, right? I'm going to try and slice in little bits and pieces up the top there. You know, I'm going to take an extra day on this. This video was actually originally meant to be out on Monday night, but I'm actually going to take an extra day or so on this. Hopefully I can put some like nice pictures of what I'm talking about up at the top there. But god damn it, who feels sorry for Asuka? WWE, right, have literally turned down Asuka versus Charlotte 2, a genuine story you could tell. Will Asuka get her redemption? She's the champion this time. Can she beat the demons of a year ago? The woman that beat her like fucking almost, what, 600 and odd day fucking streak or whatever it was. I don't know, man. It fucking depresses me. And SmackDown spoilers, fucking Kofi Kingston lost the fucking gauntlet match. Not gonna lie, I'm interested to see what happens next week. But anyway, guys, I'm out. Thank you very much for watching. Please comment below. Hit me up on Twitter at Take a Look. Like, you can fucking tell me what you think. I'm here to discuss all the time, man. Gee, how the fuck did it? See, I'm out because I don't know how the fuck did they do it, man. Jeez, fuck me.